Welcome to Spurring You On. My name is Cynthia, and my goal today is to spur you on by sharing part 4 of my health journey. I believe that as Christians, we were all meant to be ministers. 1 Peter 2:9 says, "You are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people belonging to God, that you may declare the praises of Him who brought you out of darkness into His marvelous light." So, in our everyday lives, we need to serve and encourage the people that come into our path. And I especially believe that we are to serve and encourage those who live in the same household as we do. I have a project called Scripture 7 for You, and I'd like to share it with you. I have my scriptures that I memorize on index cards with the reference on one side and the verse or verses on the other side. And each day I like to quote what I call a pack of scriptures out loud in my atmosphere. And when I get to the 7th card, I quote the scripture and I write down on a piece of paper what that 7th card was on that particular day. And then I give it to the 7th person that I come into contact with. So, continuing on with the story, I had an appointment with the oncologist. So I went to Tennessee Oncology, and the first person I met was the registration lady, who happened to be the 7th person. So I gave her the scripture, which was, let me see, I have to look back in my journal. Oh yeah, it was Luke 11:9, which is, "Ask and it will be given to you, seek and ye shall find, knock and the door shall be opened unto you." So I gave her that, and she was polite and kind, but she didn't make any comment at all about it. And then I was sent on to the medical assistant, who was also very polite and kind. And I tried to bring up a conversation about the Lord, but it didn't go anywhere, and that was okay. So then the oncologist came in, who was absolutely wonderful. She was very informative, and she was straight to the point, telling me about this cancer and how aggressive it was and how it likes to go to the brain. And she wanted me to have an MRI of my brain and then come back to the office and go over the results of the MRI. I didn't say it out loud, but in my mind I was thinking, oh no, not in my case. It's not going to my brain. But I did say out loud, I told her, I am a believer in Jesus Christ, and I believe that He died for my sins and for my healing. She looked at me expressionless and then went on with the conversation. Well, I went to the scheduler, and they made an appointment for me for the very next Monday to have the MRI. Thankfully, many years ago, my mother taught me not to look for results while ministering. Yes, it's wonderful to see the results because it can spur you on to keep going, but a lot of times we'll never know until eternity what actually happened in the spirit on a particular day. Then I was sent for the lab work. And I had a male phlebotomist, the one who took my blood, and he seated me in a chair and then turned to get all of his supplies. When he turned, my ears perked up because I heard a song playing that said, "I believe in God the Father, I believe in Jesus Christ." And I was like, what? I was like so excited. I said, "I like your radio station. And another phlebotomist said, "Oh, that's his Spotify." And referring to the guy that was just about to take my blood. And I said, "Oh, that's awesome. Are you a believer?" And he said, "Yes." And I thought, well, I better qualify that. "Are you a believer in Jesus?" And he said, "Yes." I was so excited because it was a little daunting for me to be having a needle put in me. But it was so wonderful that a Christian was taking my blood. I was just so happy. He was so kind to me. He got the results after a little while. He told me if I would just wait a little bit, I can get the results. And he went to get the results and then brought the paper to me, and which looked like Greek to me because I had no idea what all these letters meant and numbers and all of that. But anyway, he took time and he explained the paper to me, and I was just so thankful that day. Since Jesus lives in me, I was wondering if the person that did the blood work behind the scenes, if they could feel something when they had to work with the blood. It actually was just a real easy way for me to just slide right on in and to ask someone if they were a Christian, and to also let them know that I am too. It was just great. I didn't have to think of a clever way to bring up the Lord. And I was just wondering, was this God's way of showing me that he was right there with me the whole time? I left so happy about that blood experience that day. It was so easy to be a witness and to encourage, because it just was like dropped into my lap. And was that the Lord's way of showing me, yes, this is exactly what you need to do. Everywhere you go, every office that you go, look for the opportunity to share me. And I'll give you the words to say. And he did, and it was just fabulous. I did not have to think of any clever way to bring up the gospel. I would like to spur you on to look for opportunities that the Lord gives you to just say something or to be encouraging. And you know what? If nothing comes to mind and you have no clue what to say, don't worry about it. It may not be the time to do it. Well, I had the MRI, and the very next week I went back in to see the oncologist, and she gave me the report. And here's the report. It says, the pituitary gland, vermis and corpus callosum, and other midline structures are well developed. No areas of vasogenic edema, ventricles and CSF spaces are symmetric and appropriate. And, okay, I might be saying these words incorrectly, so if you're a medical person, please forgive. I'm a scripture girl and a music girl. I can say those words correctly. Cerebellar pontine angles are clear, no mass effect or midline shift, no extra axial fluid collection, diffusion imaging shows no evidence of acute infarction, there is no evidence of internal blood products, there is no abnormal intra or extra axial post-contrast enhancement, no evidence of intracranial metastasis. In other words, no cancer in my brain. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. The whole time I was having the MRI, I decided that I would quote scriptures the whole entire time so that maybe something would show up on the MRI report. I don't know, like a cross or something. Okay, I think big. I really do. I thought it would just be really a cool thing for that to happen, and then people look at that and be like, oh, wow, this is awesome. This must be God's way of showing me that the whole thing is true. But you know what? My ways are not his ways. His ways are higher than mine. And there's purpose in all he does. And I'm just going to flow with it, however it goes. But what is my sign that I am a believer in Jesus? What is your sign that you're a believer in Jesus to people who look at you, to people who look at me? Would they know? We do have to use words sometimes. Jesus did. He didn't go around just doing things and never saying anything. He did speak. Back to the question in the last video that I felt like I heard the Lord say, which way gives me the glory? The medical or the natural route? It could be both. I needed to ponder that. And I took a long time pondering that. But I can tell you that I didn't take medicine for a year. I tried to go a natural route, and I'll talk about that in videos to come. And at one point, I did have to go the medical route, so I'll just let you know that right up front. So I did both, actually. Here's what I know, is that we need to take steps every day, listening to the Lord, listening for his voice. Isaiah 30:21 says, whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk in it. I believe if we're listening, he is showing us the way, and it's such a beautiful thing. And 1 Corinthians 10:31 says, so whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. So everything we do, if we're doing it for the glory of God, I don't think we're going to miss the target. I would like to spur you on to keep listening to God's voice. Keep trying to discern which way to go. Eat and drink, and whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. I would like to spur you on in whatever is difficult in your life today. And you can let me know how I can do that by commenting below. And you can spur me on by giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing. And I'm so thankful for the people that have subscribed already. Do you know that YouTube, somehow they know how many people subscribe to what, and it shows them that this type of content is wanted, things that are positive. So please subscribe and comment if you would like, and share the video. That's always a blessing too. Until the next time, I'm spurring you on toward love and good deeds.